Now we're going to look at the CSS position property with the value of relative, right? So CSS rule set, CSS selectors, CSS declaration block, and then the declarations have a property and a value. The position property can have the value of relative, and this is known as position relative. And so when we position something relative and then use the top, right, bottom, left properties with these values, then we could do stuff like this, relative to itself. And that is the most important thing to take away about relative is that phrase right there, relative to itself. And I put this in here twice in red, relative to itself, right? Because relative to itself, we're going to move it. So it used to be here, and now it's down here, right? It used to be right there, and now it's over here. And in this one, I'm just going to show you what that does at the end of the video. It does nothing. It's like set, and then we position static to like override it. And the one other thing I want to point out is here, right, you can see in this example, it's like kind of both in the document flow, the space it used to occupy in the document flow is still there, and we've moved it outside, right? It's like that is outside the document flow, so it's in and out at the same time. So I put that little note right here. The space the element formerly held in the DOM is still blocked out. And I added one note up here to position fixed just because I was like, okay, I need to add that about each one. The element is taken out of the normal flow of the DOM with position fixed, right? We saw that. It's just over here stuck to the corner floating and things could go underneath it. And said another way, you could say the element is taken out of the normal document flow. So the DOM, remember, is the document object model. So the element's taken out of the normal flow of the document object model. Or it's the normal flow, the normal document flow. So just introducing you to some of the terms we use to talk about all this stuff. Sweet. All right, so that's what position relative does. Let's look at the code. I've included, we're in here, 035 position, 02 relative. And I have included a bunch of notes that I liked. So this is from Learn Layout, right? And that's that one website which I said, hey, we'll be using this, but we'll go back and look at it maybe at some point. But in the classroom, I use that a lot. I just didn't realize in here, I don't know, I'm liking my code base. It's all working well, so we haven't gone to that at all. But anyhow, this is the description from Learn Layout about relative to itself. Here's Shay Howe's description. And he has an entire website, just Shay Howe Learn HTML. It's a nice website. It's the best book that's out there on the market, his website, and then the book, which is exactly the same as his website. If you want to send him some money, you can buy the book. But this is how Shay Howe talks about it. And then this is how CSS Tricks talks about it. So I just want to include that because I've found that students find it helpful just to read a little bit more about position relative. All right. I don't know why. Relative to itself, what else do you need to know? Okay, so I put a border around everything, and then the divs, I give them a height and a width, a background color, and a color for the text. And then the ID 1, position relative, top left, right? So that's all it does right here, position relative, and then come down the top, come off the left, 20, and then background color green. That's it. And then the second one, which is right here, I just basically change the right 10 pixels, right? Like, hey, come off the right 10 pixels. You could also do like a negative, and, you know, that's the same as left on the 10. I don't know. So that's something that you have within your possibilities. And then the last one is absolutely nothing, because I set position relative and I came off the right 10, just like in the other one. But then I reset position static. And I did this in 2 rule sets because if I had it right here, WebStorm says, what are you doing? You've set that twice in the same rule set. And it gives me a little bit of an error. So I'm just doing it in 2 there. But the CSS is being executed in this order, top to bottom. So it sets it, and then it moves it, and then it just says, go back to normal. So if I took this away, right, it's coming off the right wall. But if I put it back on, hey, I've just overridden it. All right, so that's position relative. And the main thing you want to remember is relative to itself. Pause the video here right before the end and just read this little description, because that's actually useful. It's good we learn visual, auditory, kinesthetic. It's good to learn by hearing. It's good to learn by seeing. That's why I record these videos, because we communicate not only with sound, right, but also visually. There's all kinds of nonverbal communication which occurs, like we sound and then visual. So seeing me helps you learn, and reading helps you learn. You're actually activating different parts of your brain. So hearing it, seeing it, more of the kinesthetic, doing it, more of the kinesthetic, seeing it, more of the visual, and then also reading it, all of that, all those different techniques are going on behind the background to help you get this material more quickly. So read this, pause the video and read it. And that's going to help you. Even if you feel like you know it, it's going to help. So read it, and then we'll do position absolute in the next video.